Good morning, my name is Guy and thanks for stopping back. I'm in the middle of my dining room table build, as you probably know. There's been a design change. The table was originally going to be 6 feet without an extension. Well, my wife decided that she'd like it to be able to go to 8. So that means there's going to be an extension. I'll put a butterfly extension in. I've never done this before. I know there's at least one person out there that's very happy I'm doing a butterfly table on video. This is the lumber I'm going to be using for the end rails and side rails. It's 5/4 air-dried walnut. I need to rough cut it and then dimension it to four side square. And I'm going to get to that this morning. I've got all the lumber milled up. It's 1 inch thick. Again, I want to keep those as thick as possible for the joinery I've got to do, which is a 45-degree angle to the legs. They are finished width of 3.5 inches, which is going to be the height of the apron, obviously. So I'm going to let these sit overnight, see how well they do, and then tomorrow, if I need to flatten them out a little bit more, I'm good with that. Well, these are the 2 end rails. I'm going to take the long rails, again, which are going to be 68 inches, and repeat the same procedure on it, and just reposition the stop block for those. Well, I've cut the end rails and stretches to length, and I'm going to start to work marking out the legs where the joiner is going to go. I'm going to be using dominoes for this. It's a perfect application. A lot of different joinery techniques that you could use on this, but the dominoes are going to be the easiest and the most accurate for it. So normally when you lay out legs like this, you've got the faces, you've got the sides, and the mortises, or where you're going to put the mortises, are usually on the adjacent faces. Now, since these legs are going to be splayed at a 45-degree angle, the mortises are actually going to be on opposing faces. So let me get this one out of the way and I'll show you what I mean. So this is the front and this is the front of the leg. That's what you're going to be able to see from the end of the table. So they're actually going to be splayed like that. So in the end, you're going to have a rail between here and rails going this way, and this is actually going to be the face. I know it's kind of goofy, but it makes a lot of sense once you lay it out. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be joining the legs to the stretchers with dominoes. And if you're not familiar with them, this is a domino. It's basically a beach slip tenon. And there's a special tool to cut them called a domino. So this is 8 millimeters wide by 40 millimeters deep or long. And this is the domino joiner. And I've got the fence set to a 45-degree angle. There's a witness mark here. And I've also put some lines here, referenced from the top, of exactly where I want those mortises to go in the end grain right here. So it's a pretty simple operation. I just put it on my 45 degrees, line up my mark, and plunge it in. Now I also want to make sure that I go 15 millimeters into the end of this, and then I'm going to go 25 millimeters into the legs themselves, and that'll give me the depth of the 40 millimeters. So all that aside, I just need to start cutting them. So that's all it takes to cut these. These are going to go in like this. I'm not going to put them in right now completely because they're very hard to get out once you put them in there. But I think you get the idea. So I'm just going to do the rest of the rails. Well, after I cut the domino mortises and the stretchers, I'm going to start working on the legs. I always want to reference, in this case, the back of the leg, not the front of the leg. The back of the leg has to be on the table. Also, the fence on the domino is not tall enough to allow me to put the slots where I need them. So what I've had to do is create a shim. This is 9/16 of an inch, and when I put that down here, reference there, and then reference up against the face here, and plunge in, it's going to be at the correct height. Now I've also had to mark on the octagonal face, or these small facets, where those domino center lines are going to go. So I've reset the domino joiner to the middle settings for a little bit wide. I got a little bit of play, and I've made sure I set it to 25 millimeter depth because the other ones are 15, so 25 and 15 is 40. So I'm ready to start cutting these. So I've got these first two done, and I'm going to flip this over. And again, always making sure I reference off the table on the back side of the leg. Move my clamp over and just cut the rest of them. So this is how that joint's going to come together. I've got a couple dominoes that I sanded down a little bit so I can slip them in and out of there. So I'm just going to go into the mortises of the rail like this, and then this is going to go like that, and that's going to give me my 45 degree. Again, this is going to be the face, and our leg is going to come out through the back here, and that actually came together very well, nice and tight all the way around. And I've got my 1/8 inch to 3/16 of an inch reveal I was looking for right there. So that's that. Well, I just couldn't resist the dry fit of this. Came out pretty nice, so I'm pretty happy with it. It's going to be a very beastly table. The measurements came out exactly where I had hoped they would, and I need to start working on the bent laminations to get those ready for joinery.